Welcome to Safe Haven Radio, and thank you so much for joining us today. I know that many of you are here because stress has become a constant companion in your daily life, and you're looking for real, science-based solutions that actually work. Today, we're going to explore the fascinating neuroscience of stress relief together, and I'll share evidence-based methods that can help you reset your nervous system and find genuine calm. I want you to know that feeling overwhelmed by stress is incredibly common, and it's not a sign of weakness or failure. In fact, recent research from major universities has shown that chronic stress has increased significantly across all age groups in recent years. The good news is that neuroscience has made remarkable discoveries about how we can actively rewire our stress response systems. Studies demonstrate that with the right techniques, we can reduce cortisol levels, improve our mental health, and even change the physical structure of our brains in ways that make us more resilient to future stress. Before we dive in, I want to set realistic expectations. While these techniques are powerful and backed by extensive research, everyone's journey with stress is unique. Some methods may work better for you than others, and that's completely normal. If you're dealing with severe or chronic stress that's significantly impacting your daily life, please consider reaching out to a mental health professional who can provide personalized support. Remember, seeking help is a sign of strength, not weakness. Take everything at your own pace, and be gentle with yourself as you explore these techniques. Let's begin by understanding what the latest scientific research tells us about stress and how we can effectively manage it. A comprehensive meta-analysis published in 2024 by a leading research institution analyzed 58 randomized controlled trials and found something remarkable. Mindfulness-based interventions produced medium to large effect sizes for cortisol reduction, with particularly strong effects for people experiencing chronic stress or dealing with health challenges. What this means in practical terms is that these techniques can create measurable, biological changes in how your body responds to stress. Research teams have discovered through brain imaging studies that regular stress management practices can actually alter brain structure and function. Within just 8 weeks of consistent practice, participants showed increased gray matter density in the prefrontal cortex, which is the part of your brain responsible for emotional regulation and decision-making. At the same time, the amygdala, which triggers your fight or flight response, became less reactive. This isn't just temporary relief, it's a fundamental rewiring of how your brain processes stress. One of the most exciting discoveries comes from research on the vagus nerve, which acts as a superhighway between your brain and body. Studies from multiple universities have shown that specific breathing techniques can stimulate this nerve and reduce stress biomarkers by up to 40% within just 20 minutes. International research groups have identified that breathing at a rate of 4 to 6 breaths per minute creates optimal activation of your parasympathetic nervous system, with heart rate variability improvements of 35 to 50% observed in controlled trials. It's important to note that while these findings are impressive, research also shows that combining different evidence-based approaches creates synergistic effects. A large-scale study involving over 2,000 participants found that people who combined mindfulness practices with cognitive techniques experienced sustained stress reduction lasting at least 6 months, with combination therapies showing 60% greater effectiveness than single interventions alone. This tells us that having multiple tools in your stress management toolkit is key to long-term success. Now, let's move into the practical methods you can start using today. I'll share 5 evidence-based techniques that research has shown to be most effective for stress relief. Remember, you don't need to do all of these at once. Start with 1 or 2 that resonate with you, and gradually build your practice over time. The first technique is the 4-7-8 breathing method, which respiratory research has identified as one of the most effective for immediate stress relief. Here's how to do it. Sit comfortably with your back straight. Exhale completely through your mouth. Close your mouth and inhale quietly through your nose for a count of 4. Hold your breath for a count of 7. Then exhale completely through your mouth for a count of 8. This specific ratio has been shown to optimally stimulate the vagus nerve and trigger immediate parasympathetic activation. Practice this for 4 complete cycles, and try to do it 3 times daily, once in the morning, once in the afternoon, and once before bed. If holding for 7 counts feels too long at first, you can adjust the counts while maintaining the ratio, such as 2-3.5-4. The second technique is progressive muscle relaxation, which uses an evidence-based protocol proven to create lasting neural pathways for relaxation. Start by finding a quiet, comfortable place where you won't be disturbed for about 15 to 20 minutes. Begin with your toes, tense them tightly for 5 seconds, then release and relax for 15 seconds. Notice the difference between tension and relaxation. Move systematically up your body: feet, calves, thighs, buttocks, abdomen, hands, arms, shoulders, neck, and finally your facial muscles. Research indicates that practicing this daily for 2 weeks helps establish neural pathways that make relaxation more automatic. If you can't do the full body scan, even focusing on just your shoulders and neck can provide significant relief. The third technique is the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding exercise, which neuroscience research confirms can disrupt the stress response within 60 seconds. When you feel anxiety or stress rising, stop and identify 5 things you can see around you. Then identify 4 things you can physically touch and feel their texture. Listen for 3 distinct sounds in your environment. Notice 2 things you can smell, or if you can't smell anything, think of 2 favorite scents. Finally, identify 1 thing you can taste, even if it's just the taste in your mouth. This technique works by engaging multiple brain regions simultaneously, pulling your attention away from stress-inducing thoughts and into the present moment. The fourth technique involves creating a daily mindfulness routine based on the clinically validated MBSR protocol. Start your day with a 10-minute body scan meditation when you wake up. Simply lie in bed and mentally scan from your toes to your head, noticing any sensations without judgment. At midday and in the evening, take 5-minute breathing spaces where you simply focus on your breath. Before bed, practice 20 minutes of sitting meditation, focusing on your breath or using a guided meditation app. Research shows this specific schedule maximizes neuroplasticity changes while remaining sustainable for most people. If this feels like too much, start with just 5 minutes of any mindfulness practice and gradually increase. The fifth and final technique is to establish stress boundaries using implementation intentions. This involves pre-planning your response to stress triggers. Take a piece of paper and write down your top 5 stress triggers. For each one, complete this sentence. When specific stress trigger occurs, I will specific stress relief action. For example, when I feel overwhelmed at work, I will step away and do 3 rounds of 4-7-8 breathing. Studies show this pre-planning increases technique usage by 200% compared to general intentions. Review these weekly and adjust based on what's working for you. To summarize what we've discussed today, here are the key points to remember. First, slow breathing at 4 to 6 breaths per minute literally resets your nervous system and reduces stress hormones. Second, progressive muscle relaxation creates lasting neural pathways that make relaxation your body's default response. Third, grounding techniques can interrupt your stress response within just 60 seconds when you need immediate relief. Fourth, daily mindfulness practice physically rewires the brain circuits that control stress, making you more resilient over time. Fifth, using implementation intentions doubles your success rate in managing stress effectively. And sixth, combining multiple techniques creates powerful synergistic effects that are greater than using any single method alone. As we come to the end of today's session, I want to remind you that you have incredible power to transform your relationship with stress. Your nervous system is remarkably adaptable, and every time you practice these techniques, you're literally rewiring your brain for greater calm and resilience. Change doesn't happen overnight, and that's okay. Start with just one technique today, perhaps the 4-7-8 breathing, and practice it consistently. Small steps lead to significant changes over time. Be patient and compassionate with yourself as you learn these new skills. You're not aiming for perfection, you're aiming for progress. Remember, this information is educational and not a substitute for professional medical or psychological treatment. If you're experiencing persistent or severe stress that's affecting your daily life, please reach out to a qualified mental health professional who can provide personalized support tailored to your specific needs. If today's content provided any support or insight for your journey, please consider hitting the like button to help others find this information. Subscribe to Safe Haven Radio to continue learning about mental health and well-being together. May your hearts feel a little lighter, and may you find moments of peace in your day. Thank you so much for listening to Safe Haven Radio. Until next time, take care of yourselves and be kind to your minds.